Another mess. Well, back at it again today, guys. We're gonna be working on some bikes, and as you can see by all these fun car parts, I got a transmission to go back into my truck. Had a clutch problem with it, so. But that's not our main focus today, at least not for this video. We're gonna do some PM on the RMZ, as well as do a couple more things with Derek's RM125. Pressure plate should be in today, so we can work on it and maybe tear those forks off, get some stuff done with it. I am gonna have to do forks on the RMZ as well. As you can see, kind of hard, but we are getting some seepage, and I would just rather take care of that sooner rather than later. So there's a little bit of gunk that's accumulated at the bottom. So that taken care of, get an oil change in her. I don't know, I probably have some other PM style stuff to do, so alright guys, figure we'll tackle the easiest thing first. We're just going to change some oil, then I can jump into that truck. It's probably going to take me most of the day, and probably just use working on bikes as kind of a break from the inevitable frustration I'm going to have manhandling a 500-pound transmission transfer case into place with basically no room by myself. So yeah, let's get to work on this oil change. We'll start out by changing out the filter. It's behind this cover. Just got two 8 mils to zip out. I'm just gonna probably use the impact to a lot of people's disapproval, but it's my bike, so oh well. Okay. And if you're very adamant about not using an impact on a bike, feel free to let me know down in the comments. There we go. Bit of a mess. Yeah, the oil looks pretty good. The motor was supposedly fresh when I bought the bike, and we now have clean. Apparently wants us to clean something. Let's see. 5 hours on the dot, so yeah, we'll see how the filter looks and everything, and go from there. I'm going to take a time out here and get some needle nose to pull this filter up. Oh, come on. Come on. Ah. And like that. Come on, you're stuck. Maybe he needs a finger. Come on. Come on. It's really a lot harder with one hand. I normally press out pretty hard on the pliers. Keeping you all in the loop. We need a new plan. We gotta pick into the side and pop it out. Pick. Alright. See if this will work. Get around it. There we go. There we go. We got her. We got inside of there. If I focus, there we go. A little bit of dirt, but you know, nothing unacceptable or unusual. Let's see, we get a new filter in there. Boy, there we go. Did not want to focus there. Oh, nice. Comes with a new O-ring for our cap too. I was wondering if it was going to have that. All right. So we can look. Yeah, it looks the same to me. Yeah. Put her in. Okay. All right, this is gonna take 2 hands, so we're gonna time out so I can get this O-ring changed off this off our cap here. As you can see, there's if it'll focus, come on, focus. Oh, nope. Come on, camera. There we go. There's the O-ring. So we'll clean up this cap, pop this O-ring off, put the new one on. I like to keep the old ones. I don't like to necessarily reuse them, but I like to keep them as an emergency spare in the event that, I don't know, something happens and you do nick an O-ring and you don't realize. It's probably good to have a spare. That way you're not stuck without one. So yeah, probably go back in this bag and just be shoved into the drawer to be forgotten about for 5 years, and we can eventually throw away. But it'll be there. Alright everyone, I'm back. I got the new O-ring installed. Went pretty easy. Just so everyone's aware that this edge, it's beveled a little bit, but they can get pretty sharp. So you want to make sure you put some lubricant on that O-ring and be very careful when installing it. If you stretch out your O-ring a little bit, your cap is maybe has a little bit more of a recess or something. Good trick you can do to get your O-ring back to as small as possible to minimize the possibility of cutting a flat spot into it upon installation is you can just throw it in the freezer for 5-10 minutes. It'll shrink up that O-ring and give you your best possible chance. Okay, you just want to be aware of your orientation of this cap. They're usually made so you can't mess them up. As you can see, these bolt holes are not uniform, or not, it's not uniform. It's, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Darn, I'm blanking on it, but at any rate, they do have a particular way in which they will fit, and they will not fit in any other way. And they took the liberty of putting both the amount of oil we need, which is very convenient, as well as the up arrow to indicate which way this should go. So if you can read the numbers and letters properly and you got the arrow up, you should be good. As far as that oil on the side, it's definitely a good basis and let you know how much oil to buy and such, but I always use a sight glass as a final check. I put it to the proper level. It indicates. I don't necessarily just put in 1100 milliliters and call it done. So we're going to put this cap on, drain the oil. I haven't done that yet. We started at the top, and then we'll go ahead and fill her up with oil. And I did forget my little incident at Tomahawk. We need a new one, so I already got that in. We'll install it real quick, and that'll be it for now. Hopefully later today I'll get into these forks and we'll be able to repair them. I have never worked on the Kayaba forks before, so we'll see how that goes. This is my first non-KTM bike in a number of years, probably 4, so I'm sure it's a little bit different. It's definitely different than my new bike. It's got the air forks in it, so we'll, but anyway, yeah, we'll be learning together and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully we'll be ready to go for tomorrow. Well, we haven't decided whether we're going to go ride tomorrow or maybe go to the Motorama event at Harrisburg. It has all kinds of motor sport related activities, from RC cars to arena cross, etc. I had a hope to do a last minute arena cross entry, but I don't believe I'm going to be able to. It said they're pretty well going to be filling up spots early, and pre-registration's already closed, so we'll see. Maybe I'll give them a call today and find out what's going on with tomorrow. Sunday does seem to be the little bit less popular day to go, so anyway, I digress. Let's get this oil done. And there is a spring note, so that's why there's depression in the filter. And just a note, if you are ordering your stuff offline like I do, there we go. Just make sure you check all your part numbers and stuff. That clutch lever I broke, I actually suspect part of the reason it broke was it was not the correct one, and I had to modify it to fit into the mounts. So I may have weakened it a little bit through heating because I was grinding on it, or I may have made it just a smidge too thin, though it seemed to be pretty much as nearly identical as I could make it without having legitimate machining equipment. So it's possible, but I also hit pretty decent. The clutch perch didn't spin. I think whenever I go to fix the clutch, I'm going to go ahead and put some Teflon tape under it. That's a nifty little trick on those. It'll help it to spin whenever it gets too much force and keep you from breaking levers. So we'll go from there. All right, we're going to tighten these up to spec and get ready to drain some oil. All right, guys, as you can see, I don't have any sort of skid plate on this bike. I don't see much of a need for it, so my oil plug is very exposed. If you do have a skid plate, some of them are made with holes in them to allow you to do this maintenance without dropping it, but I don't know. I've had ones that have had them, and they're just not exactly where they should be, and etc. So if you don't want to make a mess, it's probably best to just drop them. Depending on how difficult that is, mine are usually pretty quick. It's a boulder, so, but anyway, let's get a look here. Make sure we're turning the ratchet the right way. There we go. And this is a 14 millimeter. Oh no, it isn't. I have made a mistake. Wait a minute. How the heck did I get a 12? That was in a 14 millimeter spot. Back to the drawer. Ugh. I'm going to blame Robert. I think he has been putting tools away improperly. He's not here to defend himself, so that's who's getting blamed. All right, let's do a deep well. 14 is MIA. Much better. Yeah. Hadurkadurkers. Yeah. Oh man, someone has put this sucker on nice and tight. All right, I don't have a way to hold you guys, so time out while I break this loose. Oh boy, we're back. I would not say that was excessive to super excessive, but definitely very snug. Snugger than I could get with one hand without knocking the bike over onto myself. So here we go. I found probably a better thing to do would be like let the bike run, get the oil warm to let it drain faster. Extra velocity leaving the bottom of the motor is probably going to let some more contaminants possibly be washed out, but I was unable to do that as it's winter, it's cold, and I'm a sissy, and I didn't want my door open, letting all my heat out, nor did I want to die from carbon monoxide. So I'm going to spin this out with chill oil, room temperature oil. Woo! Let's take a look. I didn't see any water or any kind of weird contaminants. So overall, just looks like some slightly used oil. Let it drain into there. This could take a while. Especially being colder, it also speeds up the process if it's a little warmer. But as I said, I don't have that luxury. At least not a luxury I want to capitalize on. So we will patiently wait. But you don't have to. We'll be back. Well, everyone decided to be a little more efficient with my time. It's a rarity for me, but decided to, we'll just change this clutch lever out. And it did bring to my attention, I cracked these loose off camera and realized, man, we don't need Teflon tape. This has a nice plastic spacer. It should provide a nice low friction contact. I just probably had it a little too tight, so I think we'll take these bolts out, put a little Loctite on them, snug them down until we can just move this thing with a little bit of force. I don't want it so tight that it's not going to move, but we don't want it so loose that it's going to freely flop around. Man, plastics or graphics coming up on the edges. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we'll go with that, and we'll get there. It's 10 mil, 8 mil. And as you can see, it's just a little barrel connector. We'll swivel it into there, put the bolt down through, and there's a nice little plastic cover that goes on this. I'd taken off to remove said clutch lever at the track and assess the situation. So here we go, back to it. All right, we're back. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this one, but I had not taken into consideration that this is an aftermarket clutch perch / apparently lever. And it's taken for granted that the last clutch lever I had been sent was an incorrect part number and assumed that the correct part number would work. It does not. So anyone who runs a Pro Taper perch, your OEM Suzuki lever will not work. So you're going to have to buy a Pro Taper one, so they get you that way. But at any rate, we'll go ahead and do this one with an impact and get everybody all riled up. Click, click, click. And it's a nice little lock. Teflon lock nut. And the perch itself, we will tighten down by hand because I don't want to test it, wiggle it, make sure that if I do drop it hard, I'll at least have a chance of this not snapping like the last one did. All right. Back to it. It's going to require both hands to adjust, so we'll leave her here for now and maybe get back to the wheel change here in a minute. Alright guys, I pulled the strainer to check it here real quick. Hard to focus, but see, we do have some aluminum bits, or steel bits. There's a magnet inside here that holds these things. I don't know. I'm not super concerned with it. It is a fresh motor, so I'm sure there's going to be some play or some wear-in factor. This does seem a little excessive to me. But I also don't know if the previous owner really ever pulled this and changed it. It's hard to say. It comes with the territory of buying used. So you know, we just kind of got to we'll just monitor the situation, go from there. Boy, this really does not want to focus on this. There we go. But we'll just clean this real good, get all that metal out, monitor the situation, and go from there. I didn't see really any bits in the oil filter, so I'm not sure if this is just fact it's never been changed. I know that cap was very tight. Definitely a little more questionable than even the drain plug as to whether it really needed to be that tight. So I have no idea. But yeah, we'll clean this off real good, put it back in, and get some oil in this thing. Alright guys, just all that's left to top her off. We torqued down the drain bolt to spec, torqued that screen cap to spec. Just be aware when you are filling and stuff. As you can see, there can be some crust on there. So I'm going to take a rag, clean that off. We don't take a chance of getting any of that dirt into the engine. There you go. Final note with that screen. You know, these are a transmission and engine oiling system. They're together. They're not separate. So you do have a lot of steel on steel action with the gears that have to mesh and other such things. I would think with this being a used bike, most of that should have been taken care of, but I don't know what all beyond the crankshaft and piston they may have changed. I don't know if the alignment may be slightly different at reground in. Who knows? So all we're going to do is monitor it. Next time we change oil in about probably 5 hours, maybe 10 hours, we'll pull that screen again, make sure we're not getting too much stuff. I know that once you do get some stuff in there, it can take a long time to get it out. I blew a clutch up in my 152 stroke 2 years ago, I think. And to this day, with I don't even know how 60 hours worth of oil changes, plus I used 3-ish gallons, probably 4 or 5 gallons of engine oil, and it broke down and started just using diesel just to flush it. It still comes out looking like a glitter show, man. I mean, so it's hard to say how long some of these contaminants and that will stay in the bottom end before they'll actually be flushed out by the system. So heck, maybe that was just still pulling some stuff from the initial break-in of the motor new. I don't really know. So we're not going to get too worked up about it. We're going to run this sucker. Alright. Oh, let's see here. Can I put the entire quart in? Oh, I'll give you guys a little better view. Entire quart in. I'm blocking you again. Oh, without spilling a drop. Alright, so this takes 1,100 milliliters. This is clearly 946. Oh, there we go, focused. So we're going to need our second one. Ugh. The old man noises. About 150, and I'm just going to kind of guess at it, put a little bit extra in, because we're going to use a spyglass, like I said, as the final say. We're not going to just measure 1,100, dump it in, and go from there. Plus, a little bit of this oil is going to end up getting stuck around with the filter and absorbed by it, and other such things. So we'll fill it up, do an initial check, start it, and check it again. You should be checking your oil before every ride. You never know when you're going to lose some or eat some, or who knows. Just best to always make sure that, and antifreeze are two things I check beforehand. Down here's a little spyglass. Can be a little hard to tell with new stuff, or new oil. Yeah. Just got taken out by my impact. Actually, it appears as though we are completely over the top of the spyglass, even with just a little bit. So there is a pretty small amount of oil difference between full and over full slightly. So I'm not too worked up about it. I know we got a quart in there plus a little. So I'll start it, check where we're at, and just wrap her up. So with that, I think we're going to end the PM on the RMZ 250, and we'll pick her up with the RM here hopefully this afternoon after I get some work done on this machine. This big old beast. So you got all kinds of stuff, tools everywhere, everything's apart. So with that, I will see you guys next time.